Hi, it's Carolina from alwaysexpectmore.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this lattice square block. It's super cool because it makes an amazing secondary design. Ready? Let's get started. For the lattice square block, you'll start with 2 strips. One is 5 3/8 and one is 2 3/4. Take your 5 3/8 and cut it into 5 3/8 squares. The 3/8 measurement on a ruler sounds really scary, but it really isn't. It's just finding another line on a ruler. Not everything has to be 1/2 inches and 1/4 inches. So we'll find the 5-inch mark on the ruler, 5 inches. We'll go over 2/8, which is the same as 1/4. And then we'll go over 1 more 1/8, which is halfway between the 1/4 and the 1/2 mark, right there. We'll line it up along the side, find a line to line it up across the top, and make our cut. We'll need 4 of these squares. Then we're going to cut each one of these in half diagonally. Just line up your 2 points and cut right across. From our narrow strip, we're going to cut pieces about 10 inches long. There's very few measurements in quilting that we're going to say about, but this one's okay if it's a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And you'll need 4 of these as well. Now we're ready to start sewing our blocks. Take each strip, fold it in half, and just finger press it to make a small crease. Take each triangle, fold it in half, and finger press to make a small crease. Line up the crease on your triangle with the crease on your strip. If you want, you can put a small pin in here to keep them together before you take them to the sewing machine. With this strip, you don't have to sew all the way from one end to the other end of the strip. You just want to make sure that you're securing the triangle the entire way. Just like with all our quilt blocks, we're using a 1/4 inch seam. Repeat this process 3 more times to make a total of 4 pieces. Go ahead and press these pieces now, pressing towards your triangle. Once they're pressed, we're going to repeat the same process for the other side. Fold. Don't worry so much about folding the strip in half as making sure that you're folding that triangle in half. Give yourself a nice finger press. Repeat with your triangle. And line up your creases. You should also see that this triangle points directly at this one. Stitch these 4 times to make your units. Once you have your units made, we'll press these just like we did before. Pressing towards the triangle. Now we can square up our blocks. If you have a 6.5 inch square, it's perfect for the job. Line it up. Trim on two sides. rotate, and trim on the other two sides. This time, you can line up the bottom and one side to make sure your block is square. Repeat for all 4 blocks. Once you have your 4 units, you can lay them out to make your quilt block. There are actually 2 different shapes you can make with a lattice units. If you're making just one 12-inch finished block, you can make either an O or diamond shape, or twist them to make an X. For this quilt, I chose the O. So we'll sew it together, first sewing the bottom 2 together, then the top 2 together, and then we'll use one final seam to finish it up. Lay out your blocks so that you know you're pressing one seam in one direction and the other seam in the other direction. Now we can put them right sides together, nesting these seams right up against each other, and sew the last seam on this block. On other quilt blocks in this series, we've talked about spiraling our seams, and we're going to do that here as well. We have one seam going this direction and one seam going that direction. So we will keep going in this direction like this, spiraling out that center. This prevents all of that seam bulk from going in one place and will make this quilt a lot easier to quilt when we're finished. Our lattice quilt block is complete. This is another block that makes a really fun secondary design. You don't quite understand why it's called a lattice block when it's shaped like this. But when you start seeing them put together, they make a really fun lattice design. That wasn't so hard, was it? Be sure to follow us for more quilting updates. Leave any questions or comments below, and thanks for watching.